Greetings. Happy Tuesday, everyone. My name is Sabrina Lowery, the Tech Evangelist. Welcome to another episode of Giving Entrepreneurs Expert Knowledge with yours truly. And tonight we are flying solo. Our special guest had an unfortunate schedule conflict this evening and could not join us for tonight's episode, but no fear, the show will go on. And with that being said, I thought it'd be a timely opportunity to showcase and demonstrate the power of AI. So thank you so much for tuning in. I want you all to know that we are live across LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and a little behind the scenes with my Instagram followers at Sabrina Lowery. If you want to join in the conversation and chat it up with me, feel free to do so. I am inviting all into tonight's broadcast. I'm going to be geeking out with you and talking tech, which is what I love to do. And because of tonight's pivot, I want you all to know in full transparency, you have an opportunity to be my guest on Geek Talk, whether it is in the future or you let me know what Tuesday works for you by going to SabrinaLowery.com so that you can apply to be a featured guest on a future episode of Geek Talk, where we give entrepreneurs expert knowledge. I am excited and thrilled to be here with you all. I would like to take a moment and invite everyone to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Over the past 11 episodes of Geek Talk, y'all clap it up for 11 episodes into our first season of this podcast, where we are giving entrepreneurs expert knowledge. That is the acronym for GEEK. That is this talk, what we're here to do for just a few minutes of your time on Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. So I want to use this time because, as everyone knows, we've been in a season of AI, workforce development, professional development, courses, certifications, and you name it, as it relates to artificial intelligence. And of course, I have been talking about AI since my very first podcast started in 2016, you all. I had to go back and check the records and make sure that I was referring to the time I talked about that Amazon Alexa device. How many of you all remember Amazon Alexa, the first of those AI devices when the world just went crazy about privacy and ethics and violations of laws, because this AI is just always at work and it wants our data and it wants to learn our voices, etc., and so on. Well, I am here to encourage everyone. Do your own research. Do your own due diligence. What works for you may not work for all. And if you are a creator like I am, then you should absolutely embrace these AI tools. They won't just support you, they will absolutely help level set your business if you are flying solo. So I want to demonstrate this technology tonight. Let's geek out a little bit. Why don't we? When it comes to AI, I want to pose a question to the audience tonight. What is your favorite AI tool today. All right. So let's just put that in the comments and get some engagement there and see what the people are talking about. And if they are not using AI, then I've got some tools that I want to show you and share with you with the power of video and AI can do for you. So tonight, I am going to share my screen and we're going to talk about this podcast as a demonstration. I am going to go into a tool that I like to use, and this is Notebook LM. If you have not used the AI tool, Notebook LM, okay, I want you all to just follow along, just look. You don't have to do or produce anything at this time, but it is absolutely downloadable on your device. I want you all to know that you can get access. Just put that on your Apple store or your Google Play store and download Notebook LM. So I'm going to go through and just demonstrate for you all a little geek talk and then show you what I produced when I found out that my special guest was unable to join us tonight. All right, so let's geek out. First and foremost, I've got my folders all demonstrated. For those of you behind the scenes, I've got my Google folder. And in my Google folder, I want you all to see the Notebook LM. Notebook LM is the app that I have downloaded. And so in my Notebook LM, now I'm going to go into a little bit of screen sharing. For those of you all that are on Instagram, hop over to youtube.com/. Sabrina Lowery, Tech, and you can see the full demonstration. All right, so let's get down with our tool of choice. Okay, so we are going into Notebook LM. Let's present, share screen, and we are going right into the Notebook LM tab. All right, here we go. So with this demonstration, again, I want you all to know that I am using Google Chrome. All right. And I have already given my notebook a name, Geek Talk, of course, for the podcast name. And then I've also added sources. Okay. So you see, I'm going to work left dashboard, center chat, and then the right studio dashboard. So follow along, ask questions along the way. I am happy to do some live demos with y'all and play around with this tool. But for the purpose of now, let's talk about what we have created with this AI tool, Notebook LM. I've uploaded images of the podcast flyers. I've uploaded the spreadsheet of all of my guests that have previously been on the show. I have uploaded my content for the verbiage and the copy, if you will, for all of my platforms, talking about what is the Geek Talk with Sabrina Lowery and Friends podcast all about. And I've uploaded my Spotify link so that the AI bots are able to research and use that specific source of content in order to develop this video that we're going to show and create. I've also uploaded my YouTube playlist as a source for the data so that this video will be created fully encompassing what Geek Talk, my podcast, is all about. I've given it some instructions. Over the past 11 episodes, as you all can see, there's quite a bit of data. So, what that amounts to is basically 13 sources that I have shown you. I'm showing you here in the center screen highlighted. I've added 13 sources. And with this content, I want to now generate an AI video under 3 minutes so that I can use it as a YouTube short or an Instagram reel or Facebook reel. So it says the 14 sources provided give detail of the 2026 launch and operational strategy for Geek Talk with Sabrina Lowery and Friends. And then it goes on and on into what are the show's core pillars? What are we doing here? What are we talking about? Who are we doing it for? Legacy, leadership, leisure, lifestyle, technology, and of course, real estate. Those are my pillars for the podcast. Over 12 weeks, I implemented a plan, marketing, flyer design, content design, what the interview questions would be, and then focus each episode in an hour or so, 30 minutes to an hour, so that I could highlight my special featured guests, have a candid conversation, all while dropping a few gems as our air quote expert knowledge, right? So the subject matter expert is invited to come on into the conversation. And then I can go further along, which y'all see I have done. The podcast is featured on Spotify. I'm being intentional and specific about where the data is. And then, hey, Arlene, thank you for jumping in the show. Always happy to have you here. And we are talking about AI and the tool Notebook LM. Thank you. Super excited about it. So, when we're using Notebook LM, I want you all to also think. Let me set up my screen a little bit differently here. I know you can't read that, but I want you to focus on this center section is almost the same as your chat GPT window. Okay. So even if I close my sources, all of my sources are still here. I can now chat, okay, with my AI and then get the content. As y'all can see, I've been doing a lot of work over these weeks. Now we're going into the studio, which is this tab on the right-hand side. So I'm going to go back into big screen mode. All right. And so let's share this screen back in. There we go. And so I want you all to see now in the studio that I have the options to create a data table, meaning I could then check the analytics of all my episodes, upload those reports, and then generate that data. I will be doing that at the end of my season and using AI to just quickly generate those reports for my sponsors and advertising partners, right? They like to know. Even my guests ask me, what's your viewership? Da da da. What's it like each week, right? So beautiful. There's that. Then we can do quizzes. We can create infographics, which I tried to create, but this red icon here says it failed to create that particular content. So I'm just going to delete that from the source and then we'll go back to that. It allows me then to create the reports. I've created reporting for my sponsors and what it looks like to be a podcast sponsor and partner. And then here we go. As you all see, just recently I went ahead and created this video. I'm going to put it in full screen mode and demonstrate for you all the power of Notebook LM's AI tool for video content creation with a simple prompt using those sources that I've already inserted into the notebook. And you all, this is what the final product looks like. Take a look and enjoy.
A calendar bleeding into the margins of your life. Relentless motion often creates a fog that masks the absence of a true, sustainable legacy. Sabrina Lowery, the Tech Evangelist, navigates the space where complex business systems meet human potential. Survival demands hustle, but succession demands the precision of expert knowledge. Giving entrepreneurs expert knowledge. This is an executive level masterclass engineered for women executing at the highest levels of professional growth. It builds from the foundations of legacy, leadership, and lifestyle into the strategic realms of leisure, technology, and real estate. These are the candid dialogues that turn industry blind spots into your next tactical advantage. Income versus wealth. Financial advisor Sybil Slade maps the chasm between short-term income and the multi-generational power of ownership, the unique friction of building assets when you're the first in the room to attempt it. Designing a financial future that outlives your career requires dismantling old psychological scripts. That future is now under the escalating pressure of the AI gold rush. Workforce strategist Ava C. Ivey warns of the hidden cost of adoption, the risk of losing human accountability in the chase for efficiency. Scaling innovation is frequently a zero-sum game with executive burnout. Building a technological infrastructure that shields your leadership integrity rather than diluting it. Financial and technical mastery are hollow without the personal leadership and mental wellness required to sustain them. A quiet crisis is unfolding among the most successful women in the industry, maintaining a perfect business facade while the internal infrastructure begins to fracture. Dr. Daniela Peel Hunter reclaims the concept of leisure, transforming it from a luxury into a high-stakes leadership strategy. The invisible impact of executive transitions and the toll of workplace trauma on peak performance. Survival mode. Kamisha Michaels identifies a hidden diagnostic truth: the internal fractures that cause a business to fail before the strategy is ever tested. The show bridges the gap between these hidden emotional fractures and the eventual stability of the balance sheet, healing while leading to ensure your enterprise actually survives its own success. The innovators and architects defining the next era of purpose-driven business. Join the conversation live every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Real-time, unscripted dialogues built to cut through the noise and move the needle. The microphone is ready for the next expert to take the seat. Stop working in your business. Start building your legacy.
All right, everyone. There you have it. AI at its best. What do you all think about that video demonstration? 2 minutes, 49 seconds of artificial intelligence at its best. I couldn't be more pleased. I was absolutely thrilled to test and demonstrate this tool with you all by using just a few simple prompts in the tool Notebook LM. Notebook LM is one of my favorites. It is one of those tools that you can continue to build upon. If you think of journaling, I used to journal a lot. Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry. So let's just mute that. Okay. And so, what I want you all to think is notebook journals. You've got several notebook journals or several files for different projects. With Notebook LM's AI tool, you can absolutely do your projects and do the content in individual notebooks so that the data that is feeding into the AI is specific to that content. And for those of you all with multiple businesses, let's talk about the dynamic use of this tool, Notebook LM, as AI for that to be your tech stack strategy. With having a tech consulting firm on one side, having a real estate brokerage and property management company on another side, none of the documents are the same. None of the contracts are the same. None of the products or the services are the same. And so, with that being said, if I am using my tools, I want the tools to give me what is specific to the task at hand. So, let me tell you something. Thank you so much for that feedback. I appreciate that, Arlene. And every time I get the leverage that I want to see, I'm going to demonstrate and teach my audience about these tools. And so I appreciate that feedback. I appreciate you showing up when I'm hosting my webinars and workshops and master classes, because I see what you do. Also, when you learn these tools, you don't just lose it, you use it. So, ladies and gentlemen, even though we did not have a special featured guest today, I want you all to know that I can still geek out with myself and my AI. Okay. So, AI to the rescue. I love it. So, if there are any questions about Notebook LM, if you need some specific strategy, if you want some one on one demonstration, then all you got to do is connect with me. I'm going to post my Instagram is at Sabrina Lowery. Y'all are catching me behind the scenes with my live stream tonight. And if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, you can absolutely do that as well. If you would like to learn more, I want you to just email some questions. All right. Hey, Sabrina, I need you to show me, send me that recording, that demo, that video to help desk at sabrinalowery.com. And that is how you can connect with the tech evangelist and get those AI tools so that you too can leverage those tools in a time of pivot, honey. Because I'm going to tell you, I almost canceled tonight's episode. And then I said, why? Because you know, AI will let you be great, Sabrina Lowery, the tech evangelist. So you better go and be great because you've been prepared for such a time as this. And obviously, the audience is appreciating and loving it. So, oh, there it is. You are so welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. And thank you for tuning in each and every Tuesday. Shout out to Arlene. I appreciate you so, so much. All right, y'all. So listen, I'm going to keep it short and sweet since I just wanted to throw a little expert knowledge at my entrepreneurial audience tonight. Little tech support, some tech tips, and some AI tech tools. So we can geek out a whole lot more. But what I will do for you is post my masterclass series, Build Your Business Like a boss.com. All right. And in the Build Your Business Like a Boss.com, that masterclass series went live for 4 sessions in the month of February. All of the content was recorded. All of the AI tools and demonstration is available there. And over 5.5 hours of content, including the e guides, the transcripts, and the recording for a flat rate. If you are a regular podcast listener, a subscriber on the platforms, I may have an opportunity for you. So, this just in, lean in. If you've never watched or listened to this podcast on Spotify, I am going to challenge you, a little challenge for this week. Let's make this first episode of April for the Geek Talk go viral. Why don't we? For every subscriber, every follower, every comment, I will comment back. And if you provide your email address, I may just gift you a copy of Volume 4, Ladies in Tech and Friends, Building Careers Not Meant for Us. And I am the forward author, and I have 24 amazing co authors. I want you all to do those things. That's my call to action this week. If you're a subscriber or you haven't subscribed yet, go on to Spotify and follow the podcast. So let's put that in the comments. Follow the podcast on Spotify. Turn on your reminders. Okay. And listen to an episode, and leave one comment. Once you're done, screenshot your comment and send it to screenshot your comment and email to helpdesk@sabrinalowery.com. And then when I respond to you, I'll get your address or we'll meet and I'll gift you a copy of the book. So there it is, your call to action, your homework assignment to help me get some new viewership this week. So I want to leave you all with that quick little tech talk for tonight on this episode of Geek Talk. And coming up next week, we have another very special featured guest. We are still opening applications and submissions for anyone interested in being a guest on a future episode. So if you are interested in being my guest, apply at sabrinalowery.com. And there is a link that says be my guest on Geek Talk. So I hope that I will be able to feature you as a subject matter expert that will give our entrepreneurs expert knowledge. Thank you all so much for tuning in. This has indeed been my pleasure. I am going to let's broadcast one more sponsor ad that I had ready. There it is. And there's the QR code you can scan if you are, in fact, interested in being a guest on the Geek Talk podcast. So I'll give you a moment for those that are watching live. You can zoom into that QR code. Otherwise, you can go to sabrinalowery.com and apply to be a guest live on Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time for another episode of Geek Talk. Thanks, everyone. I have thoroughly enjoyed tonight's conversation and demonstration. And I want you all to remember that you can get a replay of this episode on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. This has been my pleasure. My name is Sabrina Lowery, the Tech Evangelist. Make it a great day. Bye-bye.